thyroid. We're recording. I guess you just heard that. So I hope that you have a notebook. I hope you have a pen. I hope you have a good atmosphere and good vibes that are going to improve learning for tonight, because you're gonna be sitting at a fire hose for like the next 25 minutes, taking in so much good information. And I honor you all for being here and spending your evening learning and improving your health. I really appreciate that. So thyroid issues are so common, as evidenced by all of you here tonight wanting to learn about it. We have seen a definite increase in hormone and endocrine issues over the last however many years. It has definitely spiked. And I have my reasons for that. And Erica's going to share some of her reasons for that: the environment, the toxins, our stress load, viruses, all of that, which a lot of that is preventable, is what is attacking our hormones in our thyroid. You can, if you want to get a little bit more information from me about thyroid health, you can text me the words thyroid health, 2 words. I'll tell you my number and then I'll put it in the chat in a minute. It's 812-414-1644. 812-414-1644. Text the words thyroid space health, thyroid health, and you will get some other info coming to you, and we can stay in touch about thyroid. Okay, my part, and then I'm turning it over to Erica, is I want to share 4 Young Living tried and true recommendations for thyroid health. Okay, here are your 4 Young Living products that I have heard and experienced personal success with, that and others have had success with, that I feel like if you're dealing with thyroid stuff, these are things that you need to consider. Number 1 is this gorgeous bottle of Ninja Red. It's a red antioxidant drink, and it comes in these beautiful looking bottles. We just drink an ounce a day. So you get a shot glass, you fill it up. I mean, we want 2, 3, or 4 ounces, and sometimes we do treat ourselves to that, but you really only have to do 1 ounce a day of the Ninja Red. This is an antioxidant drink, and it fights the free radical scavengers that are trying to destroy your cells. It's pure nutrition. And I think every person, if you have a pulse, you need to be on this. It's helped a lot of people with blood sugar stabilization, blood pressure support, energy, immune system, and gut function, and optimal gut health. And it's pure nutrition. It really does heal us at a cellular level, which is something I know Erica is passionate about, which is healing from the inside out. Don't just put Band-Aids on symptoms, but let's heal from the inside out. And Ninja Red is a number 1 product for that. Okay, number 2 is a supplement called Super B from Young Living. This is all 8 vitamin B vitamins in 1 capsule. So the dosage is 2 little orange capsules. They're small, they're tiny. You take 2 of these a day, and you're going to get all 8 B vitamins, which is pretty significant. A lot of us are in adrenal overdrive, and the B vitamins really heal and help heal our adrenal glands. Also, our vitamin B has to be replenished every day. So it's not something that we can necessarily get from a constant intake in our diet. This also is formulated with nutmeg essential oil, and nutmeg is huge for adrenal gland health, which it also makes this more bioavailable because it's been paired with an essential oil. You're going to absorb more of the vitamin B because of how it's made with the oil, and it just flies right into your cells like it's supposed to. Big byproduct of Super B is energy. You will see an increase in energy, most likely, with the Super B. Okay, number 3 on the Young Living tried and true thyroid health recommendations is an essential oil called Endoflex. Endo, like for endocrine system, Endoflex. It is a blend of 6 different oils. You can look up what oils are in it and what each one of them do. But I want to highlight that it has nutmeg in it, which is really the star of adrenal support. And there have been times when I've done nutmeg straight under my tongue or rubbed it on top of where my kidneys are. That's where your adrenal glands are for extra support. But it's one of the star ingredients in Endoflex as well. Okay, see if you need help from any of these areas that EndoFlex supports. It supports healthy thyroid function, hormones, metabolism, and the adrenals, literally the entire endocrine system. It'll help put all of the pieces of your puzzle together as you work your way to a place of more energy that comes from within. It gives vital support to the pituitary and pineal glands, as well as the parathyroid, thymus, and adrenal glands. It's also very beneficial for growing teens, preteens with hormones that are like this. Lots of reports about how daily EndoFlex use has really helped calm and level out several teenagers. So when my boys remember to take it, I do see a difference. But, you know, there's that daily taking with an 11 and 12-year-old boy that sometimes is a challenge. So how I like to use it is I put a roller top on here, and I will literally just roll it on my thyroid, rub it in. Or I also will rub it on my lower back where I said my adrenal glands were. You could also, with the Vitality version, put a drop under your tongue or put a drop in your Ningxia Red. It's pretty tasty, and that gives you a pretty high-powered support. Okay, the fourth thyroid recommendation from Young Living, I do not have one to show you, but it is a supplement called Thyromin, Thyromin. It is a supplement specifically for the thyroid. Now, here's the cool thing. Don't ask me exactly how this works, except the way God has designed our body and the essential oils, they help bring balance to our body. So all of these things that I've shown you, if you are hypothyroid or hyperthyroid, you would see benefit from all four of these products, including the supplement, because they go through your body, they're intelligent, and they see what's out of balance and help bring it into balance. The way God designed our body is so super cool. So whether you're hypo, hyper, any four of these products would help. But Thyromin is a special blend of glandular extracts. It comes in a little pill, herbs, amino acids, minerals, and essential oils that work together in a perfectly balanced formula to maximize nutritional support for a healthy thyroid. It has a bunch of ingredients. I'm not going to read them all to you right now, but I do want to highlight kelp is in Thyromin, and kelp is its main ingredient is iodine. It has adrenal and pituitary extracts in it, and CoQ10, which is a valuable enzyme used in every cell of our body, and a bunch of other things. So hopefully you wrote those down. And if you are not yet a Young Living customer, but you're interested in 1, 2, 3, or all four of those things to help support your thyroid, then get with me or whoever invited you tonight, and we'll get you hooked up and seeing results. That's what we're really passionate about, is seeing results. Oh, on the Thyromin, you're going to take 1 or 2 capsules every day before bed. And the instructions are on the bottle. Okay. There is our Young Living thyroid support overview, and I'm going to hand it over now. Okay, good question. Do you know if all those items are safe to take if you were on thyroid medication? Yes to all of it, except for the Thyromin supplement. And then it might be safe. You just need to consult with your health practitioner and be monitoring and get there okay. But the Ningxia Red, yes, if you're on meds. EndoFlex, yes, if you're on meds. Super B, yes, if you're on meds. All super great, because they're just nutrition that's supporting your body. The Thyromin, work with your practitioner on that one. Good question. Okay, let me turn it over to Erica, but first let me tell you just a little bit about her. She is a holistic nurse practitioner, certified in functional medicine, practices at Holistic Family Medicine in Sellersburg, Indiana. And when we moved to Sellersburg over a year ago, I remember driving by and seeing her sign and thinking, whoa, we have a holistic practitioner in our town? No way. I thought, I'm going to be friends with her and we are going to do things together. And little did I know how much she was going to have an impact in changing my personal health, my husband's health, my son's health, my extended family's health, My niece is now her administrative assistant, and her life has been changed, and she's going to school because of Erica. And Erica has spoken into so many of my friends' lives and made a humongous difference. And I am so honored to be her friend, and honored that she would be willing to spend her time and share her expertise with us. She did a presentation for us back in the winter about COVID, and she was our practitioner when we went through COVID. It was phenomenal. And I know that you're going to get the same type of info tonight that is just brilliant. So we welcome you, Erica. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm very humbled by everything you said. Thank you so much. Shannon is phenomenal, very knowledgeable. I learned something tonight about the Young Living oils and supplements, so that is great to have that in my back pocket too for these people that suffer from thyroid illness. So the thyroid gland, it's a little butterfly-shaped gland right in the neck area. It's a precious little gland that seems to be affecting so many people. We used to not see this very often, and now who doesn't know somebody with a thyroid condition, right? And we also tend, what I see in my practice is that a lot of people are blaming everything on their thyroid. The poor thyroid gets blamed for everything, for hair thinning, for weight gain, for brittle nails, for fatigue. And if you look up hypothyroidism, there are all your symptoms. Sometimes it's not necessarily the thyroid, sometimes it's the liver, but it all works together and it's all one. So as far as the thyroid gland goes, when you take medications for thyroid glands, what the most common medication that's prescribed is levothyroxine. Levothyroxine is actually a synthetic T4 because the thyroid will secrete T4 and T3. So T4 is considered inactive and T3 is considered active. So you're thinking, well, why are they prescribing me inactive thyroid hormone? Well, what happens when your body actually produces T4, it will go to the liver and the liver will convert it to the appropriate amount of T3 that is needed for the body's metabolism functions. So actually levothyroxine is probably the best thing to start with if you're going the prescription route, is because your body then decides how much T3 to make. So you take the T4, it goes to the liver then, and the body can decide how much T3 is needed, and then it converts the necessary amount. So that's why so many people are on levothyroxine. A lot of people would rather be on something like Armor or NP Thyroid, which those are actually porcelain, those are pig thyroid glands that are mashed up and put in a capsule. The benefit of that is that you get T3, T4, and you get iodine, and you get other nutrients that support thyroid function. So some people do a little bit better on that. Some people don't do as well on that. So there's all kinds of things with thyroid. When we get our thyroid numbers back, we get really confused because we have all these symptoms, but yet our thyroid numbers look normal. Unfortunately, mainstream medicine only checks your TSH and your free T4. That's about as far as they will go. What they need to be checking is also the T3, but also they need to be checking your TPO antibodies and your TSI. The TPO antibodies are looking for an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's. The TSI is looking for an autoimmune condition called Graves'. A lot of times those markers will be elevated, but your thyroid numbers will be normal. I see that a lot. And people are like, well, why didn't they check that? Why didn't they check that? I don't know. I usually will check them on everybody because if your TPO antibodies are elevated, that indicates to me that there's a lot of inflammation going on your thyroid. It's not gotten so bad that it's affected your thyroid numbers yet, but left untreated, it will. Same thing with the TSI. You leave that and those antibodies get elevated, you leave it untreated because your thyroid numbers are normal. Eventually your thyroid will get out of whack and now you have Graves' disease. And then you have to deal with it on that level. So the TPO antibodies and the TCI and TSI antibodies are good things to have also checked. That way we can start treating the thyroid before it becomes dysfunctional and now you actually need medications. Do know that the medications, the prescription medications, do absolutely nothing to help the thyroid heal and repair itself. Absolutely nothing. They are just giving you thyroid medicines that the thyroid is supposed to be secreting, but they're not treating what is going on with the thyroid gland. And that is the key to this, is to keep our thyroids very healthy. One of the main things that I've read about recently about thyroid health is that the spiritual aspect of it is that the thyroid is right there where our voice box is. And for those of us that don't speak our mind, that are kind of more passive, kind of wallflowers, we don't really show our emotions. We kind of just let people walk all over us. We're caregivers. We give all the time. We those type of people end up with thyroid illness, because the spirituality component to this is that you're supposed to be able to freely speak your mind and feel at ease all the time, but most of us don't. We don't say what we really want to say, and therefore over years and years and years, that does affect our thyroid. All organs in the body actually have an emotional connection. The liver harbors shame and disappointment and anger. The lungs harbor grief. The thyroid gland harbors not being able to speak your mind and feeling like you're not heard. So that's kind of the emotional, spiritual aspect of thyroid health. You kind of have to really, speak your mind and do what you feel is right, and not harbor those emotions, because they do definitely affect the function of each organ in our body on a very individual level. So things to do to keep your thyroid healthy, like Shannon talked about, that is awesome to do that. The reason, if you're on thyroid medication, that you might want to hold off and take in the Thyromin is because it does contain the pig adrenal glands and the pig thyroid gland. And so you're getting T3 and T4 in those particular animal products that are in that medicine or in that supplement. So that may cause your numbers to be off while you're taking thyroid medication. So you'd want to kind of do one or the other. And a lot of people, I take them off of thyroid, can get them off of thyroid medications, usually pretty easy through diet. You have to really nourish the thyroid gland, and not just physically, but mentally too. So the thyroid gland loves iodine. It loves broccoli. It loves bananas and cucumbers and garlic and celery. There's lots of foods that you can add to your diet every day that are very nourishing to the thyroid. Another element to thyroid dysfunction that is greatly overlooked is that one of the causes of thyroid dysfunction is not only can be emotional, but is also that there's a viral infection. Epstein-Barr virus is a very common virus. All of us, or most of us, are infected with it. And there's 60 different varieties of it. Some of the Epstein-Barr strains will cause thyroid dysfunction. Some of the Epstein-Barr strains will cause celiac disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's syndrome, all types of autoimmune conditions. But it's definitely more prominent in Epstein-Barr infection in your thyroid gland. So when I see somebody with elevated antibodies, or their thyroid numbers are dysfunctional, then we have to go after the virus that's invading their thyroid and causing it to be dysfunctional. So autoimmune diseases of the thyroid just means you have a viral infection in your thyroid. And while the viral infection is deep-seated in the thyroid, the immune system will try to go after it, creates inflammation, and now over time, the thyroid becomes dysfunctional because of the inflammation created by the virus in the immune system. So ways to go after the virus is you got to clean your diet up. You have to start eating more fruits, more vegetables, especially thyroid-friendly vegetables. You have to detox on a daily basis, which to me means basically eating a lot more fruits. Fruits are powerful detoxers. They're powerful in increasing the immune system. They're powerful in balancing the overall body and endocrine system. And then some of the antiviral supplements that I'll put people on is zinc. Zinc is a very powerful antiviral. There's lots of different antiviral supplements out there. Zinc seems to be one of the more powerful ones that I think, liquid zinc. And then you have to get them emotionally better, and to realize that, there is emotional connections to not being heard, and that it is affecting their thyroid. So energy healing, energy medicine can work wonders on people with emotional burdens that aren't ready to really verbalize them, but need to get rid of them in order for that particular organ to heal and repair. So lots of great things about thyroid that in thyroid cancer is on the rise, and that's definitely viral and toxin related. There's a great detox smoothie that people can start drinking, 2 or 3 days a week, that can help keep them detoxed and keep pulling. What happens with toxin is that they invade our organs, and then our organs can't get nutrition. So then that organ becomes dysfunctional. So when you have a lot of toxins in the thyroid gets dysfunctional because can't get nutrients anymore. So when you do a detox smoothie, or you use fruits and vegetables as detoxers, you're actually pulling the toxins out and letting the nutrition get in, and then the organ functions more normally again. So that's powerful healing. But our thyroids are under a lot of stress because we are under a lot of stress. So we have to be very aware of our mental health, and through meditations and prayers and spiritual connections and getting rid of toxic people that's in our lives. That's very important, not just for our overall mental health, but for our physical health too. So all of that is really important. But just be aware that a lot of people that I see are on thyroid medications, but they don't really know why. I'll ask them, do you have an autoimmune disorder, your thyroid? I have no idea. Because they were never told. And also they never realized that the thyroid medication was doing nothing to help the thyroid, that the underlying cause of thyroid dysfunction was never being addressed. And so usually it's a viral infection most often. And if you go taking supplements and you increase your antioxidants and all of that, then you can get the viral load down, and then the thyroid will start functioning more normally. And so that's really the goal in thyroid health for sure. Oh, thank you, Amy. Wheatgrass, yeah, wheatgrass is great for thyroid health and detoxing. So is barley grass, tomatoes, because of their special blend of vitamin C. Potatoes are powerful antivirals. Your garlic is an antiviral, celery is an antiviral. So there's all kinds of natural foods and supplements that you can take to help with your thyroid. Yeah, do you see people heal their thyroid and bring back their thyroid function naturally? Actually, I do. I have several people, even those with Graves' disease. Now, Graves' disease is a overactive thyroid, and all that means is that the virus has infected specific cells within the thyroid that actually upregulate the thyroid function. Epstein-Barr is also an infection that can infect certain types of cells in the thyroid that actually will downregulate the thyroid function. So it's all underlying viruses. So with hyperthyroidism, I'm seeing that more and more every day. They have an overactive thyroid. So the conventional treatment for that is to burn the thyroid, is for them to take radiation pills and burn their thyroid completely, kill it. And now they have to be on thyroid medications forever. Unfortunately, these folks, after they have that done, they regret it because thyroid medications, they're constantly dysregulated. They cannot get regular thyroid levels back again because they have no thyroid at all. So I really discourage people from going that route. I would prefer that they try the natural route first and getting rid of the virus and allowing the thyroid to heal and repair on its own, as opposed to just killing it and just thinking you're done with it after that, which you never are. But yes, I do see people heal naturally from their thyroid health for sure. The thing I do notice, the ones that are following a diet, perfect diet for thyroid health, their numbers will still come back not great. And it's because of stress. You will ask them what's going on, and it's always something stressful happening. So the stress will suppress your immune system. And when your immune system's suppressed, and the viruses can still have a heyday, regardless of the nutrients and the antiviral supplements that you're taking. So stress is a huge component that I have to address with every single person that walks in, because their physical body is not going to heal unless we deal with their emotional body. And I teach them how to decrease their stress and live a happier, healthier life. So that is definitely part of healing the physical body, is healing the mental body too. Iodine and Hashimoto's. Yeah, so the iodine, that's a very, very good question, Alice. There is a lot of controversy about giving iodine to someone with Hashimoto's. My thought, and I've read both sides, is that they should take iodine. They really should. Iodine is very nourishing to the thyroid, and iodine is also a very powerful antiviral. So I do think that people with Hashimoto should take iodine. Now, you should take the proper kind, and you should take the proper doses. Usually I have an iodine that I carry. I can't remember the brand name of it now, but I recommend taking 1 drop per day for a week. And then on on week 2, take 2 drops a day for a week, and you'll work your way all the way up to 6 drops. Sometimes people take iodine, they take too much of it, and then they have heart palpitations or they have other issues with iodine. But the thing with iodine is a good quality iodine, and you slowly titrate yourself up. I personally, about 15 years ago, had a big goiter that developed during my first pregnancy. And it had gotten so large, it was pressing on my trachea. Of course, I was pregnant and they didn't want to touch it during pregnancy. They did do a fine needle aspiration, a biopsy, and said that it wasn't cancer. And so after delivery, I ended up having surgery. It took them like 6 hours to get this big goiter, and a goiter is just where the thyroid gland just replicates itself and just the tissue just grows and grows and grows. And so that's a goiter. And goiters, you can't shrink them. I've tried to help people shrink their goiters through natural means, haven't been able to do that. However, taking iodine will help it from getting any worse. So what I ended up finding out was that I was extremely iodine deficient. I mean, my iodine levels were almost non-existent. Now, we used to have iodine in our salt, so we didn't see many goiters years ago because it was in our salt. But now they've taken iodine out of the salt, replaced it with bromine, which is actually very toxic to the thyroid. So we have to get our iodine from other sources. We're not going to get it from our salt anymore. So sources of iodine are, of course, from kelp, Atlantic dulse. You can take iodine drops. All of those things are good sources of iodine. We actually need iodine. For anybody out there who has cysts anywhere in the body, whether it's your thyroid, your breasts, your ovaries, anywhere, that's usually an indication of iodine deficiency. So getting on some good quality iodine at small doses can be helpful, or eating foods that are high in iodine. So I do recommend iodine drops for the patients with Hashimoto's, and I haven't had anybody have any problems with it. It's only the ones that take too much of it or poor quality that seem to have problems with it. Oh, yeah. So if you've already had your thyroid removed, yeah, that's tough. Do know that, you do have the gland removed. However, the energy of the gland is still there. So I tell people, even those that have had their thyroid gland removed through radiation, through surgery, the energy of that organ is still there. You still have to almost treat it like it's still there. It's like a phantom limb. You may have had your leg cut off for various reasons, but you can still feel that it's still there. And that's kind of the way I look at anyone who's had it removed or burned. We have to treat it like it's still there, especially if they're still having symptoms, which most of them do. So we treat it as if it is still there. And so I put them on, eating a ton of fruit, drinking fruit smoothies, on the zinc, on B12, a little bit of iodine if needed, and a good, like Thyroamine sounds like a good nutritional support for thyroid. And go on and treat it like it is still there, because there is actually, the energy is still there. And then there's still thyroid tissue throughout the neck. Our tissues are not localized to one area of that organ. The organ actually is kind of spread out, like our breast. It's not just our breast tissues throughout our chest wall. Thyroid is not just in that little butterfly, it's actually throughout the neck. So you still have to treat it as if that organ is still there, because most people have had their thyroid radiated or removed, they still have thyroid symptoms, and regardless of them being on medications or not. So we still have to support the thyroid if it's still there. So that was a good question. Yes, I see people, the question, do you still see people developing thyroid disease after periods of intense stress? Yes, for sure. They develop all kinds of problems after stress. And as Shannon pointed out, adrenals are very important. The adrenals produce our stress hormones. And what will happen with the adrenals during chronic stress is that the adrenals will start producing a toxic blend of adrenaline that the body will use for fuel, but eventually it's like you're pouring gasoline on these organs. They will use it for fuel if they're building fires, but eventually it will burn that organ out. And so chronic stress will produce abnormal blends of adrenaline production, which will then cause organ dysfunction. And the thyroid is one that can definitely be affected by adrenal fatigue. So we see a lot of women with thyroid symptoms, hypothyroid symptoms. It's really adrenal fatigue problems that they're experiencing, especially if their thyroid markers are normal. Then you have to think, okay, well, your thyroid numbers and your antibodies, all of that looks good. We have to go and look at your adrenal glands. Now, the only really test out there for adrenal glands is in your conventional office, they'll run a blood test, a cortisol level, an AM cortisol level. That is not a very accurate test. The most accurate test is doing a saliva testing, because in the morning your adrenal glands will produce the most cortisol. So you'd spit in a cup and then you'll measure you'll take like 4 samples throughout the day at various times through the day, so we can get a curve of how much cortisol your adrenals are actually producing. And that seems to be a pretty decent test. But I tell people, based on their symptoms and normal thyroid numbers, we have to go after the adrenals. and they're always under chronic stress, poor sleeping, bad, dietary habits, all that kind of stuff, the adrenals get burnt out and they will create the hypothyroid type symptoms. So many women and men go to the doctor's office. Thyroid markers are normal. Why do I feel like this? Well, I don't know. Your thyroid looks good, but they don't have a good test for adrenals, and that's why they don't even address adrenal health. But adrenal health is extremely important. People developing thyroid disease, to offer biofeedback service to help. Oh yes, biofeedback is wonderful. I've been doing biofeedback for several years now, and it does help tremendously with stress. It can give you a nice printout of all the different toxicities in your body, the different energy frequencies coming from different organs. It can tell about your nutritional status. It can also tell about your emotional burdens, which I think is very interesting because emotional burdens, they actually carry energy. And so biofeedback can actually pick up on your emotional burdens and what you're actually harboring. Because some people are harboring a lot of emotional burdens. They don't even know what they are because it's something that happened so long ago, they don't even think about it anymore. However, the body remembers everything, and the body will store that energy in different areas of the body. And then that organ can become dysfunctional because of just the emotional burden that they've been carrying around for so many years. So biofeedback does help with stress. It balances the central nervous system. It's interesting because my biofeedback machine, actually have two energy healing machines, and they both have young living frequencies on there. So they will actually tell you what essential oils, kind of like the thing that you have, Shannon, that are beneficial for you, and it'll actually give you that frequency of that oil. It also goes into what homeopaths are good for you, vitamins, nutrients. I mean, it tells 10,000 different pieces of information. But I like it for people that are stressed because it does help balance their central nervous system, helps them bring awareness to their emotional burdens. The biofeedback actually tries to unburden the body. So it's not just reading the body, it's actually trying to help heal the body through its energy frequencies. So it can be very powerful for a lot of people when it comes to decreasing stress and balancing the body energetically, for sure. Is that comparable to the AO? Is that what you have, Shannon, the AO scan? I'm not sure what that is.
I have the Zyto scan. I'm not sure what Amanda is referring to with the AO scan.
Mm-hmm. If it's an energy reading scan, there's lots of them out there, and a lot of them will read your energy and then just read energy, but then some of them will read the energy and try to fix it. So all of those devices are good. They really are. So I think the reason we're seeing increases in thyroid and endocrine disorders is toxicities, stress, and poor diet. That's why we're seeing such an increase. Just like Shannon said earlier, the stress is off the charts. People are so stressed out now due to fear and COVID. They're more stressed than they ever have been, losing their jobs. I mean, I've seen so much anxiety and so much physical ailments related to that. It's been unbelievable. So we just have to keep our mind right. I cannot emphasize that more because we can easily fix the physical body through nutrition and detoxing with fruits and supplements. But if you don't heal the mental body, the physical body is just not going to get to where it needs to be because you're still stressed out. I always recommend meditations and prayers every single night. And the negative thinking that a lot of us get ourselves into, that's so powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. They are almost as powerful as the spoken word. So we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to love ourselves. If you have an organ that's dysfunctioning in your body, like your thyroid, you cannot blame your thyroid. Your thyroid is you. You have to take responsibility for that. So many people will blame their illness on the name of their illness. Well, that's that Hashimoto's, or that's that celiac disease. That's this, that's that. No, that's part of you. You have to embrace that. And don't look down upon it as if something is, it's turning against you on some level, because your body will never turn against you ever, no matter what anyone says. It never turns against you. It only wants to heal and repair. And when something becomes dysfunctional, that means it's a red flag saying, hey, pay attention. Because if you continue doing what you're doing, we are going to get worse, and then the other organs are going to follow in behind us. So yeah, that was a really good question. But yeah, the way to detox daily, the way I do it, that Ninja Red is perfect. But also eating a lot more fruits every day. We got to where we don't eat fruits anymore because of their sugar content. And so I would like to come back sometime, Shannon, do a talk on diabetes, because I've got a great protocol for diabetes that actually is getting people off of their insulin, which is really quite remarkable. So the fruit is very, very healing. And so growing your own vegetables, growing your own gardens, you know, growing things, getting your hands dirty, getting in the sunshine, laughing, only engage in things that make you feel good. Don't engage in things that make you feel bad or worse. Don't compare yourself to other people. I mean, all these things take a real toll on your physical health. So just the awareness of it is really quite powerful. Oh yes, I will do one on diabetes, no problem. I've had great success with my diabetics here lately. Yeah, so the fruits, blueberries, 2 cups of blueberries every day. If you don't eat anything else all day long as it comes to fruits, eat 2 cups of blueberries every day. Blueberries are powerhouses. Not only do they detox our bodies on a whole new level, they also provide a very high amount of antioxidants to support healing and repairing the tissues that have been damaged. My favorite blueberries are wild blueberries. They're way more nutritious than the conventional berries you're finding out in the produce section. So the Wyman's blueberries or wild blueberries are usually in the frozen fruit section. So they are powerhouses. They're flash frozen as soon as they're picked, and they're wild, so they contain a lot more nutrition. So if you don't eat anything else all day, if you can add 2 cups of blueberries to your day, that is going to be a powerful fruit to help you detox and nourish your body at the same time. That I should avoid housework. Well, as long as it's toxin free, okay. And then you can listen to your favorite music while you're doing your housework. And then there you go. That'll make it enjoyable and not so taxing, that's for sure. Yeah, so these are all really, really great questions. Don't make it a positive thing. I know laundry seems to be the thing at my house that nobody wants to do, right? So I just put on a Seinfeld episode or something funny that I don't have to think about, and I just get the laundry done, right? Instead of being mad about it. So those are great questions.
If anybody else has any last minute questions, feel free to throw those in the chat. I kind of don't want this to be over. I want to sit and keep listening to Erica.
Oh,
Like
thank
every
you.
sentence is full of just a powerhouse of information, but it's also refreshing to see a practitioner say what we've known in our hearts all along, that we are connected, integrated beings, and our spiritual, physical, mental is all related. And to know that you get that, you see the picture, and you're willing to treat specific physical things, but also bring in diet and stress and spirituality. That's how we were intended to take care of our bodies. And we've said forever in Young Living, we knew God's given us, our bodies, the ability to heal themselves. And we just have to treat it and do the right things with it. So there are a couple more questions coming in. These will be your last couple minutes to get questions in, and then we'll close it out. Erica, you mentioned a detox smoothie. What should it include?
Yeah, so the detox smoothie, if you want to write this down, I have it memorized. You do 3 bananas, 2 cups of blueberries, 1 cup of orange juice, and 1 cup of cilantro, 1 teaspoon of barley grass, 1 teaspoon of spirulina, and 1 tablespoon of this Atlantic Dulse, spelled Dulse. And that is called a heavy metal detox smoothie. And that is developed by Anthony William. So if you Google detox smoothie Anthony William, you'll have the exact recipe. I'm pretty sure that's the exact ingredients. So that's what I use. And that is a powerhouse smoothie. It really, really is. The greens, the spirulina and the barley grass do great in pulling out pesticides and heavy metals from the tissues. The Atlantic Dulse is interesting. It's a type of algae. And what it does is once the heavy metals and toxins are pulled out and dumped into your gastrointestinal tract, the Atlantic Dulse is like a magnet. It will hold on to those toxins until you poop them out. A lot of times we go through these detox regimens and we end up recirculating our toxins. That's why we feel bad during detoxing. You're not supposed to feel bad during detoxing. You're supposed to feel good or okay. You're not supposed to feel bad. If you're feeling bad, then you are recirculating your toxins, and they're just getting dispersed in other organs of the body. So the Atlantic dose is really important in that it's a magnet, holds on to those toxins, and then you can get rid of them out of your body. But that is a powerful detox smoothie. That smoothie alone has changed so many people's lives. I just can't even tell you. The fatigue goes away, the brain fog goes away, the joint pain goes away, the belly pain goes away, the fungus clears up. All of these different things start clearing up when they start this detox smoothie. They're sleeping better. I mean, I can't even tell you the countless things that it improves. So that's a powerhouse. That's the best one I find out there. I used to put people on lots of detox regimens, but they were miserable on that, including myself. I've done all kinds of them, and they were horrible. And so I do not recommend those anymore. But the heavy metal detox smoothie by far gets way better results because of the natural nutrition in it. The detox smoothie in the beginning, I would recommend doing it every day, at least 5 days a week. And then if you're starting to get tired of it, then do it maybe 3 days a week. But as much as you can do it, it makes a big quantity too. So usually you can almost split it in half and drink, the first part in the morning and save the rest for later. Just remember to put the smoothie in like a jar and seal it up. That way air doesn't get to it and break down the nutrients. But it makes a giant smoothie that is totally good for, a breakfast replacement for sure. So yeah, a couple of days. If you're really sick, I recommend it every day. If you just kind of want it for general health, just about 3 or 4 days a week. Oh, thank you. Yes, I do the detox smoothie about 4 to 5 days a week. Now, I do have to say, when I first started it, I did develop a headache, really bad headache. I thought I was pretty clean, but evidently not. So it was pulling out a lot of stuff that I hadn't realized that I had. So what I ended up doing, I didn't want to stop it. I just backed off on my greens a little bit and increased the Atlantic dose in there because I was evidently recirculating them. So I had to tweak it a little bit in the beginning to where I wasn't detoxing. And then after I made those tweaks, now I'm able to do the full servings and not have any problem. Okay, so the sugar, that's a good question. The sugar in fruit, there's a huge misconception. Fruit sugars are long-acting sugars. They will not cause diabetes. Please do not be afraid of fruit sugars. The fruit consumption in the US has gone down 30 or 40% because of the keto craze, and everybody's afraid of sugar now. You cannot lump fruit sugars in with other sugars. You cannot. The fruit sugars are long-acting sugars, and people are sicker than ever because they're stopped eating fruit because of the sugar. So like I said, I have diabetics now that I put them on a very heavy, intense fruit diet. And I'm not kidding when I say that. So they are eating a ton of fruit sugar every day. So what is happening, diabetes is not about sugar. Diabetes is about a poorly functioning pancreas. What diabetics do is that they drop their sugar because they're told to, and they increase their fat because fat doesn't have sugar in it. So what happens to that, their pancreas gets worse. The fat surrounds the pancreas, smothers it. It's full of toxins. Now it's full of fat. Now they're on their 5th diabetic medication, and now they have to go to insulin. So what the fruit is doing is actually cleansing the pancreas. They drop the fat in their diet. They eat a ton of fruit, and now their pancreas is cleaning itself. And now it's running more, it's functioning properly. And now it's keeping up with the demands of the sugar in the blood. And so that actually reverses diabetes. And it's really that simple. Truly, truly, it is that simple to reverse diabetes. But mainstream medicine doesn't want you to be cured, okay? As we all know, they want you to stay sick. They don't want to kill you, but they want you to say just not feeling well overall, so that you'll keep taking the medications. And unfortunately, that is the era that we live in. And hopefully that'll change at some point. But right now, pharmaceuticals are hot and heavy on us. So just be careful of that. Always go the nutritional approach first. The pharmaceuticals will always be there. How can people find? Oh, yeah. So I'm in Sellersburg. If you just Google Holistic Family Medicine in Sellersburg, my website will pop up. And just feel free to call, and we'll get you in. I'm usually booked out about 2 to 3 weeks. So for a new patient, we'll get you into the first available. My first appointment are usually an hour and a half long, and we just go through everything. If you need prescription medications, I'll prescribe you prescription medications. I can do both. Lab work, I do lab work right there. I try to do a one-stop shop at if you want IV nutrition, then you can get an IV for nutrition. Your Crohn's patients respond very well to that. There's all kinds of stuff. Check out my website, all types of holistic modalities to help your body heal itself for sure. Asked about gluten-free. Yeah, so gluten, that's a good question. So that is actually a very good question. Sorry, I won't take up too much more time. One thing you think about, if the underlying cause of your thyroid dysfunction is a virus, another component is not only to kill the virus and nourish the tissue, but also you don't want to feed your viruses anymore. Viruses love gluten, dairy, and eggs. People that eat a lot of gluten, dairy, and eggs and have underlying viral problems or organ dysfunction, they will keep their symptoms going 100% of the time. Now we think eggs are wonderful. Eggs are wonderful. However, eggs feed viruses. Back in the early 1900s, when they started really getting into viruses, they fed them eggs. That's how they grew viruses in the lab. They fed them eggs. All your vaccines have eggs in them because they feed viruses. And eggs do the same thing in our bodies. They feed our viruses. So if you have an underlying autoimmune condition or any other health condition, you kind of want to stay away from the gluten, dairy, and eggs because they are known to feed our viruses. The viruses will feed on those foods, release toxins, which will then cause a headache, stomach pain, or increased dysfunction within that particular gland that already has the virus infected in there. So yes, that was a very good question about gluten.
Part of the question about gluten, I believe, was also if someone is already gluten-free, and then in the heavy metal detox smoothie, there's barley grass. Is that a gluten grain, and do you see any issue with that?
No, the barley grass that I use is from Vimergy. It starts with a V as in Victor, and they have very clean barley grass and spirulina that's gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free. It's very, very clean. So if you're suffering from any type of autoimmune disorder, you've got to get the gluten, dairy, and eggs out of your diet for a while until your viral loads get down. Then you'll notice when you eat any of those foods, your symptoms will return. You don't ever really get rid of these viruses, unfortunately. You actually just make them go dormant. But if you feed them, or if you're under chronic stress, you got poor nutrition, those viruses will come out and they're opportunistic. So they'll take advantage and cause further destruction and symptoms.
Okay. Thank you, Erica. This has been fantastic, has it not? Are you all like, is it thumbs up, a 10? Incredible information. And you've also given a lot of hope for maybe people who have been told, well, you've got this thyroid condition and you'll be on medicine the rest of your life. And we know that there's more. We know there's more we can do and be a part of our body's healing. And you have laid that out very clearly. So thank you for that. And yes, we will have you back to speak about diabetes. And then we'll just keep going every couple of months. We want to hear more and more from you. And I hope that several of you will make an effort to go and see Erica at her office. Did you want to say something about that, Erica?
No, just thank you very much. My door is open to everyone. Once you walk in the door, you become part of my family, and I will know, and you will know me, and I will know you, and you can contact me anytime. It's truly, it's mind, body, and spirit, and we have to take care of each other, right? We have to form strong community and care for each other with no judgment, with nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about, just knowing the truth about the cause of what is your troubles. That is empowering in itself. So thank you very much, Shannon. I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Absolutely. We can't thank you enough. So hopefully you got some good nuggets today. Think about them. I'd love to hear later on. Send me a message. Tell me what really spoke to you about tonight's call, what you're going to do if you need an accountability partner in making some of these changes. I just get really excited to hear what you guys are doing with your health. Next week, again, an intro to essential oils, same time, same channel, same link. And then as a team, we have a lot of these types of calls that have been so valuable, and they're on YouTube. If you just search Believe Team Library, you will see all of our weekly calls, and you'll get a lot of good nuggets from that as well. Okay, everybody. So good to see you. Thank you to Erica. Thank you to you all. Be blessed. Take care. Bye-bye.